Howdy doody. Happy Monday. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm using the crummy old laptop mic right now. My little board isn't wanting to work. So if anyone can just give a little thumbie up if you can hear me. Just want to make sure. Got my coffee ready. Okay. Wonderbar. I don't sound like I'm in a tin can or anything. This might just be the better way to go. Chloe Albert can hear me. Chloe, blink twice if you need help. Are you okay? We've been trying to get you on the stand. All right, Nikki can hear me. Guys, please give Nikki a little bit of love too. She is one of our fearless mods. I'm so blessed to have her. So are you guys ready to get a little mad, right? I'm pretty mad. Let's see. Chloe says, I did it. I bit and scratched. Love it, love it, love it. Man alive. Yeah, Nikki, we're super glad to have you, girl. Well, guys, welcome, welcome. I'm Britt Happens. Welcome to the channel. Why am I Britt Happens? Well, because that is a nickname that I had when I was younger, like teenage, early 20s, just from having really horrible luck, because Britt rhymes with a certain 4-letter word that starts with an S. So the name is just kind of me trying to take something bad and turn it into something good, right? You know? So guys, today we are going to go over, oh, hello, Ruth Ann. So glad to see you listening on your phone, YouTubing and driving. So glad to have everybody here. Today we are going to go over Jen McCabe's 911 call. Why? Because I have a lot of questions. Just from listening to that dialogue. I mean, not even seeing anything going on, right? From the tone of her voice to the things that she says. So we're going to together do some Brit talking. Carrie, so glad to see you here today. Yes, yes, yes. Glad to have you here. Welcome, welcome to the Savage Patch. So for audio, I am using another YouTube video. So please make sure you go like criminality, criminality with a capital T, because we're going to be using this for our audio today. It seemed to be pretty much the only just straight audio with no commentary. So let's start giving it a listen.
Square line, what is your emergency?
Yes, I need someone to come to 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow.
Okay, I already have questions. How about you guys? Anybody else? First of all, she's still sitting in the car, okay? At this point, she hasn't gotten out of the car, right? Jen! I'm not going to repeat your last name, Jen, but I'm super happy to see you. Jen is my TikTok friend who has made the leap over here to YouTube as I have. Yeah, super good to see you, darling. So, guys, McCabe hasn't even gotten out of the car, right? She's still just sitting in that passenger seat with a perfectly calm tone of voice. Yes, hello, I need somebody to come out here to 34 Fairview. Let's say that I was the one sitting in the passenger seat, okay? I would have gotten out of the car and gone into the house to make sure that we don't need 2 ambulances or 3, right? Yes, Marilyn. So first she says there's a man passed out in the snow. Then she moves into there's a guy passed out in the snow. And then you have the gall to get up on the stand and say that he's your friend who you loved, right? So yeah, I definitely have a lot of questions. And then remember, at this point, she hasn't even seen John. She hasn't assessed whether he's actually just passed out or if he's deceased, right? She has not gotten out of the car and gone up to his body. So yes, Nikki. If guys, please do what Nikki says and bust a caps lock if you have actual questions. I'm going to try to go through, on days that it's just me, I'm going to try to go through every single comment in the chat. Jen, the title of this video made me feel like you were yelling at me. Well, if you remember, Jen, so Jennifer McCabe, she got up on the stand and when describing Karen's state at this time, I mean, they have just stumbled across Officer John O'Keefe's body, okay? And McCabe was, at least to me, she sounded a whole hell of a lot like she was mocking Karen. She was mocking Karen's trauma. She is distraught, and understandably so. And McCabe is sitting there snarling. I mean, she had kind of a nasty look on her face. Jen. I mean, it didn't sound like somebody who had a lot of empathy for what Karen may have been going through. So, all right, I'm going to wind this back, y'all. We're probably going to listen to little bits of this and just pick it apart a whole lot. And I'll probably be going back to her testimony as well. So feel free to hang out as we do that while we watch her lie through her tooth.
No, police have square line. What is your emergency?
Yes, I need someone to come to 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow.
You're in Canton? Hold on. I'm going to transfer over to Canton, please. You're connected to Norwood, okay?
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
It's the tower. So stay on the line.
I think he...
No time for commentary.
Dad, we need, you got to get here ASAP, okay?
I'm going to stay on the line.
Talk to
Canton.
Norwood.
Okay. I know. Where are the blankets?
Okay, so wouldn't there maybe be blankets, I don't know, inside 34 Fairview? Right? If you're really interested in finding blankets and saving John O'Keefe's life, wouldn't one think you should go inside the house, maybe say, hey, John, who supposedly didn't come over in the house last night, he supposedly didn't come inside. Well, guess where he is, Nicole? Guess where he is, Brian? He's right the fuck out there. He's right outside in the front yard, and he is not awake. He has been out there for Lord knows how long, probably since after midnight, right? Jen says I actually sound better. I know, Marilyn. A man on the ground when she's on the phone, but then all right. Brandy, so happy to see you, darling. Brandy is another amazing. Thank you for watching from X/Twitter. So glad to have you, Shirley. Good to see you, Lulu Bell. Glad you're here. Brandy says, I start sitting there and just chitter-chatting with Norwood, which he said to her, You're talking to Norwood right now. Let me get you on with Canton. And then she starts making commentary with the Norwood Dispatch. Okay? Something's not right. Something's not. She's not shocked. She's not getting her sister or brother-in-law, who's a first responder, heartless. Oh, absolutely. Like, and also you would want to make sure that maybe no one inside was hurt, correct? I mean, you would want to go in and assess that there wasn't, I don't know, someone who broke into the home, attacked Nicole, your sister, attacked Brian. You've got nieces and nephews inside, possibly friends who spent the night. Because remember, it's Brian Jr.'s birthday. It's BJ's birthday party, right? So there may be people who slept over, for all Jennifer knows, if she's telling the truth, right? For all Jennifer knows, someone in there could also be hurt or worse. But no, I want to make commentary to the Norwood Dispatch, who already told you that you're talking to the wrong person. He's trying to transfer you.
I don't see blankets carried.
911, what's emergency? Hey,
Yes, I need someone to come immediately to 34 Fairview Road, Canton, Mass.
What's going on?
There's a guy unresponsive in the...
A guy. There's a freaking guy. Not my friend. Not my friend who I love is unresponsive in the snow. There's a guy.
There's a guy unresponsive in the snow.
In the snow at 34?
He passed out, yes. 34, the Albert resident, yes. I just...
Is anyone else just already grinding their teeth as we're listening to Jen lie through her tooth here? I mean, the entire basis of this phone call is deceptive. You guys understand that, right? Hello, darling. So good to see you. Are you okay? I gotta ask, just in case you've made like an adjustment to your username. Are you the Cursey Nursey M, or are you a different M? I gotta know. Please correct me if you're not the same person. Romy, hey girl, hey, so good to see you. Glad you're here. We are listening to Jen McCabe lying through her tooth in this 911 call. Charmaine Lily, hello, darling. Glad you're here. Sometimes it's a little... All right, here we go. I've reviewed this tape over 50 times. I was taken aback with a statement I did not hear before. When we get to it, hopefully you all will hear it. Okay. If I go past it, you go ahead and flag it out, okay? Yeah, lying through her tooth. She 100% is. She 100% is. Once we get the channel, guys, to a point where we can get like super chats and fun little emojis, I'll totally have a lying through your tooth emoji. This is just so disturbing. I would have been freaking out, screaming into that 911 call. Oh, absolutely, Lulu Bell, and so would I. I'd probably be running through the house, going from room to room in the Albert residence, just to make sure there's nobody else there who's hurt. And yeah, I would sound a whole lot more distraught. I'd probably be like panting between sentences. Oh, okay. Brandy, are you having a hard time hearing? Here, let me turn the volume up on this a little better. I'm not using my soundboard today, so. Dickie, what's up? Guy on dispatch sounds suspect. I've heard it before, obviously, but I don't trust any of them. Hey, you know what? I hear you, but I will give them this. So, 911 dispatchers are trained to keep their voices calm, because imagine, like, let's say that you've just been attacked, or there's someone who has broken into your house and you just barely made it over to the neighbors, or you're in some kind of extreme emergency, just had a car accident, whatever. You're on the phone with 911 and the person you're speaking with is also freaking out. That's going to make the person calling in the emergency freak out even more. Doctors are trained to do this. Anybody who handles some form of emergency, you have to maintain a certain level of a calm tone of voice. Try not to, let your face say too much if you're speaking in person. And that's just to help keep, the person involved from freaking out anymore, because that can actually make matters far, far worse. So yeah, panic is not welcome in this line of work. Brandy, I'm really not sure. But if you would like to support the channel, because it is a baby channel and it does have bills, there are means and methods by which you can do that. Scrolling along the bottom, I've got a little, a little place for you to be able to support the channel. Lulu Bell says the fact she knew Officer John O'Keefe, she was too calm. Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, the way that she's bringing up Officer O'Keefe, she's making him seem like a stranger who she just happened to drive past, right? Like, this is the tone of voice I would have if there were maybe a homeless man who I didn't know from Adam in the snow who looked like he needed help, right? Okay, cool beans. It's probably also my my internet around this time of night for whatever reason. Jim, maybe Jennifer McCabe was getting mad at Karen because she interrupted her concentration reciting the narrative. Hey, you know what? I mean, she was definitely, at least to a degree, annoyed with Karen, right? She was so annoyed with Karen that morning that 2.5 years later on the stand, she is snarling and mocking the way Karen was repeatedly screaming Jenn's name, right? Brain. Yeah, I know how they are trained. Just get the sense that he knew the call was coming. Something does seem off. You're right. You're right, Vicky. Do you think maybe Higgins tipped off the dispatcher? I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying you wrong, right? I'm not going to say that you wrong. Because at this point, I mean, how much is really surprising us anymore? We had what we had with the Sallyport footage. Guys, if you haven't had a chance to, make sure you watch. It's not John Como, guys. If you've been saying John Como, then you're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. It's Como. And I also had Video Jesus, Abby, Video Jesus, on last night, and we went through the Sallyport footage. But I mean, all that stuff that we just learned on Thursday, like, as shocked as we were and as disgusted as we were we really that surprised? There, go to the right side. Were we really that surprised? Because we've seen so I mean, it just doesn't shock us anymore. We're almost desensitized to it at this point. All right. Yeah, definitely, Dickie. Karen did make it a little messier. But I mean, when you are in a state of shock, you haven't slept, at least a whole lot of the night. She maybe got like 3 hours of sleep, right? Vix Logic, welcome. I think you're a new guest here. So glad to see you. Take away Karen, there's nothing. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. So help me out a little bit. Can you elaborate? Marilyn, in my opinion, being an old Boston girl, I would be swearing off the chain. Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. And if I'm not swearing, then my face is getting me in trouble. Lulu, the fact that it was an officer, the entire department should have shown up and secured the scene. So guys, if you haven't followed LV Cops TV, they talked a lot about this. How if someone mentions that it's a police officer, yeah, 34 Fairview would be swarming. I mean, just absolutely crawling with squad cars. They would be saying 444. That's like a code for there's a police officer having a dire emergency. He's in trouble. He needs medical. He needs something. And everybody swarms the place. It's like a bunch of ants after you step on a freaking one of those little ant beds. Oh, yeah, definitely not the perp, Vix Logic. We are 100% with you. You are in. Had to learn how, oh, there it is. Unfortunately, had to learn how 911 calls are routed in Canton this past year. So that first call she made, then the transfer would like to know who she, Dickie, I want to talk. Definitely. If some, there we go. Sorry, my mouse is having problems. The first thing I would have done was ran straight into her house to check on her precisely and let her know what's going on too. She could help. Nicole could help. Nicole could be on the one on the, I'm sorry, Nicole could be the one on the phone with 911 while Jen looks for freaking blankets. And Brian, maybe, I don't know, radios something in. Jeepers creepers. Welcome to Captain Stacks. So glad you're here, friend. We are going through the phone call of Jennifer McCabe. We're kind of picking it apart a little bit. All right. At least you would have seen a ton of missed calls from me to my sister and the cop husband. Yeah. More than two little 6-second phone calls with a whispering voice. I mean, honestly, if I'm letting my sister know that there's a dead person and that dead person happens to be a friend who we know outside, I'm going to be like screaming, and it's going to be a lot more than a 7-second phone call. Okay. I'm not claiming to know what she says. I have an idea of what she says, and Microdots gave us all a very good idea as to what she says to Nicole in that phone call. But that call is going to be longer than 7 seconds, and you're going to hear very clearly what I am saying to my sister if there were indeed a body on the front lawn. If indeed I hadn't gone in the home to check on her and make sure that she and her family, her children, are okay, and see ADD. I'm losing it. So I'd also be like asking questions. I'd be asking, did he eventually come in? Like, did someone come over after I left? Did you have an intruder? You know, can you bring out some water or something, anything? So yeah, absolutely. Whispering of urgency. But it sure wouldn't be whispering. If Jen were telling the truth, I'm going to take my insulin pump off for a little bit. If Jen were telling the truth, guys, that call to Nicole after the 911 call would be a lot longer than 7 or 8 seconds. Because we have to remember, if she were telling the truth, then Nicole and Brian supposedly have no idea that John O'Keefe has been out there for, you know, according to the Commonwealth, close to 6 hours. Especially if they hosted the party the night before. There should have been There should have been frantic evidence of Jennifer trying to tell her sister immediately that this was going on her lawn. Yeah, certainly. And I'll bet you a whole $1 Jennifer's got a house key. So she could have gone in and gone into the house and gotten these blankets that, you know, they're so frantically looking for in Carrie's car. Yes, Charlie Lynn. First of all, welcome. So glad to have you here. And diabolical is such a good way of putting it. Very good way. All right, I'm going to keep playing this audio. Guys, make sure you go and like this video by Criminality with a capital T.
In the snow.
In the snow at
He
34?
passed out, yes. 34, the Albert resident, yes. I just pulled up and found him.
Okay, 34.
You didn't find him. According to your testimony, you couldn't see him. You said on the stand that you would have just driven right by him. And this is important, where she says that Karen was the only one of the three of them who noticed John, that they would have all just passed him right by. And they found it odd that Karen was able to see him so quickly. She spotted him like that. And the Commonwealth used that piece of her testimony to insist that Karen had prior knowledge that John O'Keefe was there. Okay? Let's keep listening.
Fairview?
34 Fairview, Canton, Mass, yes.
911 on recorded. Where's your emergency? Hello?
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you come to 34 Fairview Road in Canton?
34 Fairview?
Bring a burger with
Yes,
fries.
there's a man unresponsive in the snow.
Okay.
Man,
Has he,
again. Has she even said his name yet, guys? Like, has she even mentioned yet that this man's a Boston police officer? I don't think she mentions it at all.
he blue at all?
You've got to get here, okay?
Okay. What's going on? Is he face down?
We just flipped him over.
Okay. And who's that in the background? Is that someone related?
Okay, that's his girlfriend. His name is John O'Keefe.
Okay, so we just got his name coming out of her mouth just now. And remember, this whole time, guys, Jenn McCabe has not left the vehicle. She's still sitting in the passenger seat, apparently unable to see him, right? Let's check on that chat. Hey, Jessica. Good to see you, darling. I need to have you up here one of these days, girl. Yes, drops the Albert name before she even mentions who the victim is. Did y'all hear that? Let me say it again for those of you in the back. Before she even said John O'Keefe's name, she dropped the last name Albert. Priorities. Yes, and yes, Nikki, she knew all this without even getting out of the car. And we're going to keep listening, but this is one of those points that I just wanted to drive home tonight, guys, because it's so important. But Jennifer McCabe never left that passenger seat and was able to describe the injuries to O'Keefe's face. There's something not right with that, because she testified that she couldn't even see him. Sorry for the beeping, guys. I have medical equipment that likes to be annoying. Yeah, she said they just flipped him over. Jim says, call to Nicole was probably a quick alert that 911 had been called or coordinating. Yes. I'm not going to claim to know exactly what she says. But again, the fact that they were whispering should I don't understand this either, Vic's logic. How did they flip him over? I mean, I'm sure it was probably a group effort, but yeah. Again, Jen hasn't even left the passenger seat as far as we know. Let's keep listening.
Okay, how old is he?
John is 46 years old.
46. How long has he been outside?
I don't know. I don't know. He got out of the car and
What did you say? How long has he been there? I don't know. He got out of the car. All right. Has lifted off. Let's see where she lands it.
and
Is he
it could be
breathing?
a couple of hours. If he
People, I need y'all to hear that again. I'm going to wind it back for you.
46. How long has he been outside?
I don't know. I don't know. He got out of the car and
Is he
it could be
breathing?
a couple of hours. If he Carrie, if he,
A couple of hours. If you really thought, Jennifer McCabe, that John O'Keefe had been hit by Karen Reed, what else would you think? You would have thought that it happened sometime just after midnight. Which means that if you were telling the truth, that John O'Keefe would have been out there like 6 hours, almost the whole night. Exactly, Jessica. How would she know he had only been there a couple hours? And oh, by the way, if he had only been there a couple hours, he had only been there since 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, which is just after your Google search. Right after your Google search. If John O'Keefe had really been out there only a couple of hours. Yeah, definitely some Twilight Zone stuff. Yeah, okay, so 5.5 hours. No, I don't equate that with a couple at all. A couple hours to me is 2, maybe 3. 2, maybe 3 hours would be since 3 or 4 in the morning, which again is how long after she made that Google search? Not very. About 30 to 90 minutes after she made that Google search. Yeah, out of the car last night. You know, and this is why, Captain Stacks, it's good to have multiple attorneys and multiple sets of eyes. And 2 brains are better than 1, right? That's why we are doing this. That's why we are all looking at every piece of this case, because everybody may get something different out of it. Romy says, can someone refresh my memory? When she was testifying, did she ever mention seeing him get out of the car? She didn't. No, she never said that she saw him. She says that she saw the car. She was very adamant about that, and she was very adamant that it didn't leave until like 12:45 a.m. or after. Jim says, I've always wondered if McCabe is improvising and calling the audible in real time without Brian Albert's knowledge until she goes in the house. I'm really not sure. At this point in the day, in my opinion, they were not planning just yet on allowing Karen to take the fall for this. But that's just me. I think that came later in the day. I believe that the already somewhat cracked taillight kind of gave everybody an idea. Ding, light bulb goes off. If you're watching The Grinch, that big smile. Hang on. I'm going to share it. I have to give you guys this visual that is in my mind right now. When the Grinch has the awful, awful idea. Here it is. All right. How do I do this? Technology. Present. New screen. There she blows. But I believe that at some point, after the sun had already come up, they saw that Karen had a somewhat damaged taillight, cracked, maybe a little piece missing. And they had, it's mirrored, it's backwards for me. it's the Sallyport video. An awful, awful idea with that great big Grinch screen, Grinch smile. So that's what I, would gander as to that question. All right. Back to the call. Here we go. Add to stage. Y'all bear with me. We're a baby channel here. We're still finding our way. It's like a little baby mole when the eyes aren't open, Not yet.
He got out of the car and
Is he
it could be
breathing?
a couple of hours. Is he, Carrie? Is he? I don't know if he's breathing. There are two women trying to do his body heat, and they're hysterical.
Okay, can you just try to ask him? I know it's tough, but we already have the fire department going. They just got to know if he's breathing.
Is he breathing, you guys? No. It doesn't seem to be breathing.
If that's my friend who I love, I wouldn't be getting back on the phone. Here's my phone. And just ever so, yeah, it doesn't appear that he is breathing, sir. So go ahead and send the fire department. I'm just a baby, Romy. Oh, yes. You know what? I am going to do a little visual that will have the Grinch with that great big evil smile and the Cheshire Cat right next to each other. Cat and Stacks on the way there. Karen was probably telling Jen and Carrie that she dropped him off. Yeah. Because if you remember, Jen actually made some effort to prevent Karen from even looking at 34 Fairview just yet. You remember that? So, I mean, there had to have been some discussion about it. Yeah, Brandy, like, why is she whispering? She's whispering to 911 dispatch. She's whispering to Nicole. Something ain't right. Sherry D, great to see you. Number 36 on the thumb, getting ready for the Master Brit Accent Guys show, but had to come in and say hey and give a like or a love. Aw, glad to see you, darling. Thanks so much for being here. We are watching the Jennifer McCabe 911 call and picking that bitch apart as she's lying through her tooth. Oh, thanks so much, Jerry. I'm glad you were able to watch last night. Last night was awesome, guys. Like, make sure you go back on the replay, do the live chat replay, maybe speed it up to like 1.25 or 1.5, but it was a good time. Having Video Jesus and John Camo. All right, let's keep listening here. Ba, 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 ba.
Okay, do they know how to do CPR? Do they want to attempt CPR?
You guys, Carrie, get up. Can you guys do CPR? No, I guess he's gone.
Okay. They don't feel comfortable doing so?
No, I think he's passed away.
Okay. All right, we got the fire department and the police department on the way. If everyone's declining CPR, then I'll hang up with you, and if anything changes, you can give us a call back. Where are you?
I mean, does it sound a whole lot to you like she's actually trying to get people to come and help save his life? Or does it sound more to you like she's just trying to report a dead person? It seems to me like she's trying to convince this dispatcher that he's already deceased. All right. Let me check supporters real quickly. Judy, thank you so much for your Cash App. I appreciate it. And let's see. That is it for now of the supporters. Sherry. She personally would have been freaking the fuck out, yelling, running around. Yeah, absolutely. What Karen is doing, that's exactly what I'd be doing too. And also checking Sherry to make sure that my sister isn't hurt or worse inside the house. Yeah, but I don't think she knows for sure that he is out, but Nikki, wait, she testified that Karen and Carrie were giving John CPR the whole time. Well, I believe that maybe the dispatcher asked them to and kind of recommended that they try that. I don't believe that Karen was thinking all the way straight. I mean, you have a very hard time digesting the things going on around you when your loved one is, in that state, right? Yeah, Brandy. She was trying to just go ahead and just have them send the coroner. It seems like. Yeah, I think he's already gone. Don't bother with the ambulance. Oh, Charlie, you are a hoss. It is scrolling at the bottom. It's just the channel. It's a baby channel. We don't have, fun memberships with cutesy tootsy little emojis or super chats just yet. Yeah. Lying through her damn tooth. Jim, that's a good one. Told the tooth. Oh my goodness. She had to say this because the others were doing CPR. Yeah, that's a good point, Marilyn. That's a really, really good point. Lulu, people like this, who just look out for number one or, their own, her and hers, right? In my opinion, she's sleeping just fine. She at this point, if I wouldn't be able to, it would eat me alive to have something like this on my conscience. Yeah, Nurse Kim's argument about bloody CPR for someone who is likely already gone is compelling. Oh yeah, and guys, remember he had also vomited. He's not just covered in blood. He's got vomit all over him. He feels cold to the touch. I mean, his core temp was 80 degrees at that time. And I don't have a formula to be able to calculate what his core temp should have been from being there, you know, a couple hours, like Jenn is saying here on the 911 call, versus 5.5 to 6 hours, as the Commonwealth is asserting. But I feel, just as a layperson and not a medical professional, that if John O'Keefe had indeed been lying in the snow in 18-degree weather from 12 a little later, core temp would be a little lower than that, right? If he's been lying jacks, he's not, you know, getting jiggy with it. He is lying there, approaching a deceased state of being. So his blood is not pumping. He's not running or anything like that. And he has no blankets, no heavy winter coat, just a baseball cap and a long sleeve shirt with a hood on it. Okay. And I feel as though he would have been colder than 80 degrees. But that's just me. I don't know if there is a formula to figure that out, but I feel like it would have been, you know, pretty easy to determine. Read Brit, they're pathological. They live a lie every day and it's normalized. Yeah, I just, you know, there are people who you have a way of thinking and of decision making that is so far beyond what I would ever consider. I mean, it's just, it's hard to, yes. I don't know if YouTube has rules about that, but yes, John O'Keefe did investigate those types of crimes. Well, yeah, Nikki. I don't believe he was out there until a little later, you know, and I think that an 80-degree core body temp makes a little more sense with that theory that he had only been out there since approximately 3 a.m., not since 12:30. Sherry. I'm going to play the Sherry, and every time I see your name, it makes me want to like do that super high falsetto voice. Sherry, you know. So many theories, right? Nikki, we know he wasn't out there when Lucky did his first plow. Yes, and we absolutely know that beyond a shadow of a doubt now, because somebody turned on their headlights and drove by 34 Fairview, which, man, I wish I had just rented my own car when I went up to Boston a couple weeks ago, because I totally would have done that too. But since I was, you know, having other people drive me around, I didn't want to, like, you know, I'm sure everybody up there has at least done a drive-by of 34 Fairview like 100 times. So I didn't want to like ask their way. Nikki says, Google search 222, then out to the yard while no one was looking, and the time that the Ford Edge was there. Yeah. Absolutely. That then means that John was, slowly passing away all by himself and somewhere in that house all alone. I know. If you guys saw Microdots' most recent video, Occam's Razor, oh man, that point about 14 minutes into the video, I'm not even talking about the 9/11 footage that he showed. Like, that already had me in tears. But then he puts together like this delicate but still like so dark set of imagery where it's showing the dash cam footage of the police driving to 34 Fairview. They've got their windshield wipers on, and it's just so dark and so cold, and there's ice and snow everywhere, and it just makes you think, oh my God, what were those last couple of hours like for John O'Keefe? Just so bleak, all by himself, you know. So sad. Dickie says, I tend to think he was stripped down and his clothes were rinsed at least 2 before he was put out. Who knows? You know what, Dickie? That's a very interesting theory because a lot of the blood stains, and I mean, we've gone over this before, but those blood stains don't make sense at all. Justice for Sandra, too. Guys, so sad. So sad. I mean, what people are doing here, like, it's just normal. Like, guys, this isn't just like fluffing up your time card. This is legitimate evil. I mean, I'm sorry. I have to say it. But you're standing by watching someone's civil rights be trampled on, and you know good and well what happened on January 29th, 2022. You know good and well what happened, and you are just letting an innocent woman who just lost her significant other go through all this. And, you know, if they were just interested in a cover-up, I would imagine that they would have just come forward and said, it was a horrible accident. They didn't have to charge anybody. This is malicious. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for just a second because my husband is calling me now 3 times in a row. So I want to make sure nobody is dying in the snow. Haha. Not muted anymore. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Everything is all right. Everyone is all right. My husband, Mr. Britt Happens, God love him, just forgot what we needed from the grocery store. And it was dog food. So, anyway, let's keep listening to this extremely deceptive phone call. I mean, again, the entire basis of this phone call is just unbelievably false. I want to go back to where she, you know, is talking like she knows exactly what he looks like at the time, because this is just unreal to me.
It doesn't seem to be breathing.
Okay, do they know how to do CPR? Do they want to attempt CPR?
You guys, Gary, get up. Can you guys do CPR? No, I guess he's gone.
Okay, they don't feel comfortable doing so?
Right. No, I think he's passed away.
Okay. All right, we got the fire department and the police department on the way. If everyone's declining CPR, then I'll hang up with you, and if anything changes, you can give us a call back. Where are you guys outside?
Are y'all hearing that tiny, like she's going to make it sound like there's a little crack in her voice? Christina, so happy to see you here. But yeah, she has been completely cool as a cucumber throughout this entire call. And then all of a sudden, when she finally starts to say, you know, basically, hey, don't bother with the ambulance or the fire department, just send the coroner. Because I think he's gone. She gives this tiny little sniffle. Let's hear that shit again, lying through your tooth.
All right, we got the fire department and the police department on the way. If everyone's declining CPR, then I'll hang up with you and.
Oh wait, I
If she's passed away.
yeah, that's
Okay.
it. Here
No,
we go.
I guess he's gone.
Okay, they don't
Right
feel
here.
comfortable doing so.
Right. No, I think she's passed away.
Okay. All right, we got the fire department and the police.
I think he's passed away. And then goes right back. Okay, thank you so much, officer. Please remember, it's the Albert residence. Just in the coroner.
I'll hang up with you and
Yes.
if
Okay,
anything
okay.
changes, you can give us a call back. Where are you guys outside?
Oh, right out front of his car. I know, I'm on the phone with the ambulance. I know, honey. I know.
Poor Karen.
He's not
This,
there was any alcohol or drugs involved?
they had been out.
Go ahead and tell the tooth, like Jim said, Jen McCabe. They had been out drinking? No, we all had been out drinking. That's what you tell him. You tell the tooth. They had been out drinking. My ass.
They had been out.
They've been out drinking.
Yes, but I'm talking hours ago, maybe. And I think, I don't know how long he's been in the snow.
Okay, is there any bleeding or anything? Maybe hit his head out?
Yes, possibly. There seems to be bleeding in the face.
You're still sitting in the car. You're saying on the stand that you couldn't even freaking see him. You're shocked that Karen could see him. And you're able to describe that there's blood on his face? Okay, Nikki. This, when we're able to get memberships and fun little emojis, this is going to be an emoji. The tooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth. In fact, I'm going to make a video of, I'm going to make like a little AI animation video of this being a thing. Yes, Charlie, she invited him over. She invited him over. Now, I understand that she's not speaking to the police right now. She's just talking to the 911 dispatcher. But believe me, she knows that these calls are recorded. She's her whole family's in law enforcement, okay? I know more about how the military works than I should because of all the military people in my family. I did not personally serve. They won't take type 1 diabetics. But because of other members of my family, I know that most of them have to leave their phones either in their car or in a locker. They can't have them with them. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that she, believe me, understands because she has family in law enforcement. She knows that this call is being recorded. So she is not wanting to say that she was involved when they were out drinking. That's why she said they were out. Not we were all out. And yes, it was Jen who said that they flipped him over, Sherry. And then freaking describing the blood on his face when, you know, again, on the stand, Jennifer McCabe, you said that you couldn't see him from the car and you're still sitting there in the comfort of Terry Roberts' passenger seat. from Helena, Montana. Jim Riddle. So happy to see you. Welcome. Yes, exactly, Charlie Land. So much distancing language here. She is trying to separate herself from this situation as much as humanly possible. A guy in the snow. They were out drinking. I don't know how long he's been there. Dickie says that Montana is almost far enough from Canton. Yeah, pretty big blast radius of fuckery, right? Am I right? Let's keep listening.
Okay, bleeding from the face. All right.
Yes.
And how big's the pool of blood, if there is any?
Something's coming out of his nose, and one of the women is doing CPR.
Okay, one of the women is doing CPR?
Yes, they're both working on him.
All right, if she's doing CPR, just just give us a call back if he becomes responsive, right? But we're on the way.
Okay, thank you.
Let me say.
Blech. Let's listen to the whole thing, no pauses, start to finish, and you guys just give me your reactions. If I can figure out how to operate a freaking laptop. Hang on.
Oh, police is square line. What is your emergency?
Yes, I need someone to come to 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow.
All right, you're in Canton. Hold on. I'm going to transfer you over to Canton, please. You call me. You're connected to Nolan, okay?
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
Yes, she did.
Okay, stay on the line.
I think he's dead. We need, you got to get here ASAP, okay?
All right, I'm going to stay on the line. I'm going to transfer you to Canton.
Okay. I know. Where are the blankets? I don't see blankets, Terry.
911, what's your emergency?
And I can't go in the house.
I need someone to come immediately to 34 Fairview Road, Canton, Mass.
What's going on?
There's a guy unresponsive in the snow.
In the snow at
He
34?
passed out, yes. 34, the Albert resident. Yes, I just pulled up and found him.
Okay. 34
I just
Fairview.
pulled up.
34 Fairview, Canton, Mass. Yes.
911 is unrecorded. Where's your emergency? Hello?
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you come to 34 Fairview Road in Canton?
34 Fairview?
Yes, there's a man. Yeah, you've got here.
Okay. What's going on?
We just flipped him over.
Okay. And who's that in the background? Is that someone related?
Okay, that's his girlfriend. His name is John Keith.
Okay, how old is he?
John is 46 years old.
46. How long has he been outside?
I don't know. If he
Couple of
carries,
hours.
I don't know if he's breathing. There are two women trying to do his body heat, and they're hysterical.
Okay, can you just try to ask him? I know it's tough, but we already have the fire department going. They just got to know if he's breathing.
Is he breathing, you guys? It doesn't seem to be breathing.
Okay, do they know how to do CPR? Do they want to attempt CPR?
Can you guys carry that up? Can you guys do CPR? No, I guess he's gone.
Okay, they don't feel comfortable doing so?
No, I think he's passed away.
Okay. All right, we got the fire department and the police department on the way. If everyone's declining CPR, then I'll hang up with you, and if anything changes, you can give us a call back. Where are you guys outside?
Oh, right out front of his car. I know, I'm on the phone with the ambulance. I know, honey, I know.
He's not breathing.
So, Carrie, you got to get off him, honey. Carrie, you got to get off of him. This is a scene.
Do you know if there was any alcohol or drugs involved?
They had been out.
They've been out drinking?
Yes, but I'm talking hours ago, maybe. And I think I don't know how long he's been in the snow.
Okay, is there any bleeding or anything? Maybe he hit his head out?
Yes, possibly. There seems to be bleeding in the face.
Okay, bleeding from the face. All right.
Yes.
And how big the pool of blood is, if there is any?
Something's coming out of his nose, and one of the women is doing CPR.
Okay, one of the women is doing CPR?
Yes, they're both working on him.
All right, if she's doing CPR, just just give us a call back if he becomes responsive, all right? But we're on the way.
Okay, thank you.
Let me say.
Bye.
Okay, this
No.
is 50 shades of fucked. Okay? You've got, like Charlie Lynn said, all this distancing language. A man, not my friend. We had been out looking for him. She sounds like she just rolled up on the dude and didn't know him. Am I wrong? Kevin from South Boston? That's what it sounds like to me. Like, this is the type of call I would expect to be listening to if McCabe were a complete stranger. Yeah, and there are some people who, they rise to the occasion and kind of hold their shit together and freak out later. But, what really tips it off for me, she doesn't want to include herself in any of this. They're flipping him over. They went out drinking. Not we all went out drinking. They went out drinking. Again, how are you able to describe from the car that you say you could barely even tell that his body was in that yard, right? She said she could barely even tell from the car that he was there. And she was shocked that Karen was able to see him from the back seat. So how did she know that there was bleeding on his face? If you supposedly couldn't see him from the car and you were sitting there in the comfort of your passenger seat. Charlie Lynn, thank you for the Cash App. Very generosity. Thank you again for the Cash App. I appreciate it. Let's see. You guys are true heroes. You're going to keep this channel channeling. I appreciate you guys more than I can possibly say. Can't tell the truth because of her tooth. Oh, you guys are so savage. I love y'all. Yeah, Dickie, that's a good point. I don't think I've ever called 911 and been asked about a pool of blood. Now, granted, usually if I call 911, it's because I just watched an accident happen and I haven't even assessed the people in the car yet. I literally just saw it. Most of my 911 calls are something like that. Oh, that looked bad. Y'all get out here quick. Yes, I agree, Vix. I think she was given a very strict script for that morning. And then, some things started to not go according to plan, but they adjusted their cover-up agenda, figured it out. It ended up being pinned on Karen. And again, I find it malicious that, they didn't have to charge Karen with anything. They could have said from the beginning that this was an accident, right? Then they change it to a manslaughter charge. Then they up the ante from manslaughter to second degree. Take a plea bargain. Sherry D says, call taker, one name, caller ID, another name. It's strange. Huh. Interesting. Oh, Nikki. She says the baby channel will start walking soon. We're still crawling on all fours right now. We're still figuring this out as we go along, but we're going to get there together. Kelly, welcome to the channel. She says, good is the one who took the call at Canton from 911. Interesting. Okay. You know what? I think you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was Sergeant Good. It's been a while since I've heard this call, guys. I'm kind of, I'm not going in completely blind, but I had not heard this 911 call from the beginning since it first was released. Yes, Jim. Original plan was for people to see him and think, oh, must have gotten hit by a plow. And if you remember, and Massachusetts people, massholes, whatever y'all call yourselves. If you remember, Karen also was asking herself that morning, what happened to John? Could he have been hit by a plow? And that evidently is not an uncommon thing to have happen. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but it happens almost as often as maybe a car hits a deer. None of those voices sounded like good. I'm 99% sure that was good, but yeah, not one saw a laid out body. Unbelievable. Do you guys want to watch a little bit of Jenn's testimony? Lying through her tooth? Because I'd like to see if maybe... Oh, Sherry, you are the shit. This is why we love Sherry D, guys. She just sent me Exhibit 14 from the trial documenting the 911 call. Okay, let's pull that up first. There it is. There she blows. All right, let's stop screen, present. Baby channel is crawling on all fours. Share screen. Here we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Exhibit 14 from Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. Canton Police Department, call number printed on the 25th of October. So they didn't even print this call. Whoops, y'all can't see it. Haha, here we go. They didn't even print this to go by before even printing this. Call number 22449 at 6:08 a.m. So, guys, the call came through at 6:08 in the morning. Yeah, Charlie Lynn, I need some blood pressure meds too. That's funny. We're going to get through this together, y'all. All right. Call taker was Kelly Deaver. Primary ID, Sergeant Good. So what does that mean? Does that mean that Good was like the officer, like the leading officer on duty? Oh, shucks, Jess. Thank you. Oh, whoops. Thank you. Y'all are all just heroes. We're going to figure this out together. Jim says, what do they expect people to believe? He's been playing hide and seek, snow plow, hit him. Well, I mean, evidently that happens more often than you'd think. No, so Kelly, the call originally went to Norwood PD, and then she was transferred. Yeah, exactly. That's like the first thing I noticed, Sherry. Maybe, so what I'm wondering is maybe Sergeant Good was like the manager on duty, so to speak. But I didn't hear a woman's voice speaking to McCabe. All right, so guys, let me show you what we're looking at. Call taker. Ah, man, I can't zoom in. Kelly Deaver. And then the primary ID is Sergeant Good. Sergeant Sean Good. You guys can see that, right? Good was in charge of dispatch, I think, that shift. Lehan was probably highest ranking, signed off on a report. He signed off on a lot of reports. Maybe. Oh, yeah, Brandy, their arrival times were all kinds of wild. I'm gonna have you just give this stack of forms a once over. Can you just tell me whether that appears to be accurate? So that is indeed, according to you, what happened? Okay, so let's look at these timestamps. Jackson is the man, guys. Michael Jackson could be the king of pop, but I'm going to let Alan Jackson be the king of defense. All right. Wait a hot flipping minute. All right. Call taker. Primary ID. Call closed by Lehan. Call modified by Lehan. Modified? What does that even mean? Just that Jennifer was transferred? Are you guys seeing that? That it was modified? Yeah, Nikki. Look at like the fourth tab down. Right here. Call modified by Edward Lehan. And then, of course, they put 32 Fairview because, you know, it really helps to keep attention away from you if they ever so slightly mess up your address and ever so slightly mess up your name. And that's why in not this last hearing, all of DA Michael Morrissey's sneaky ex parte communications, that he said, make sure that you're putting in slight misspellings of Karen Reed's name, because that way, if there's a search done internally, her name, nothing will pop up. Like if you change Reed to R-E-E-D, right? So let's keep looking. Dickie says they might have wanted to get Good out of the station. I don't know. Gallagher is dirty. Yeah, Gallagher was playing ball. I think someone gave him an order. Yeah. Jim, not only did the dispatcher, you know, not ask if Brian was okay, but Jen name dropped the Alberts. She said, I need some. It's the Albert residence. And she name dropped the Alberts before even saying John O'Keefe's name. That tells me a lot right there. Dickie says, yeah, I think the whenever the log is edited or updated. Okay, that's probably True. Yes, Jim. Karen Reed, R-E-E-D or R-E-I-D. Because, you know, anytime I'm typing Karen Reed's name into something on my phone, autocorrect likes to pull that kind of stuff on me. Can we refuse Auntie Bev yet? Vic's logic, I like it. Lehan. On 70-year-old, knocking on 70-year-old women's doors to interrogate and intimidate them about signature gathering for the police audit. Yeah, him and freaking Buchanan. Yes, she did. She did omit officer. Yes, Marilyn. No response that she said it was the Alberts house. CPD had a heads up, though. Carrie's calls earlier, too. Which good dig take? Yes. Okay. You're right, Dickie. I think I may have been conflating those two phone calls at the beginning. Of officer. Oops. No mention of officer. And like LV Cops TV said, Brian and Gonzo, they would have given a code 444. And that place would have been crawling with law enforcement immediately. Berkowitz could have known immediately. Yeah, certainly. Certainly. All right, I'm going to get back onto this page. Jurisdiction, Canton, of course. Post 3 West, Stephen Seraph. Dispatch 60916. Cleared by Lehan. Post Mulaney. Cleared by Lehan. Post Good. Person found in Snowbank. Seraph and Mulaney to respond with $2287 OF. Person. That report would have looked very different if Jen McCabe had said, Officer John O'Keefe. He's a Canton police. I've always wondered if Higgins sought out Berkowitz for his advice. That is quite possible. Quite possible. And now, Sherry, remember, he also, was he not acting at that time, Berkowitz? He was still the chief at that point. Yes, Vix. Absolutely disgusting. And y'all, those of you who are not in Massachusetts, I've said this before, but if you think this is just happening in Massachusetts, you are so wrong. It's not even funny. These guys just messed up. They botched their cover-up. Just bad enough to where the public was able to figure it out. And we would have never figured it out if Karen and, oh, guys, if someone can please tell me how to pin a comment in the chat, it would mean a lot. Karen Reed's at the very, very be so kind and so generous as to make a contribution. Are you, wait a hot minute, Charlie Lynn. Are you serious? I mean, that doesn't shock me. How else would Higgins have gotten his own office at the Canton PD when he was an ATF agent? My gosh. So, Sherry, now that you're back, oh, whoop. Okay, so Sherry, look at this again. What you sent me. Modified by Lehan. So what do you think that means? That's pretty wild. Yes, they were best friends. Best buddies. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy. Wherever I go, he goes. I actually don't know how the melody goes. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy and me. Do you guys remember that commercial? So a long time ago, they were trying to create a doll that was marketable to boys. Okay. And so the buddy doll was this boy doll. This is before they came out with, like, you know, G.I. Joe action figures and stuff. But yeah, this was supposed to be a doll for boys. So he would be your friend or your buddy for you to, like, go climbing trees with, or, you know, stomping on bugs, or, you know, kicking the dirt with. Yeah, yes. So Nikki remembers. My buddy, he goes wherever I go. Sherry says G.I. Joe with woman per. My buddy and me. Yeah, okay, so I'm not crazy. There are other people who remember that. I don't know why jingles stick with me so much for so long. For so long. All right, let's pull up Jenn's let's pull up her cross-examination, because I don't feel like cooking dinner just yet. I'm going to have to pretty soon, but I like hanging out with y'all. While I'm checking that out, I'm going to do a check for channel support too. Oh, come on. YouTube, please work. There we go. Let's see if I can find my way out of this paper bag. Dickie, the person talking with Jenn was Lehan. Edward Lehan. We all saw the witnesses look to Lally or Auntie Bedford. And I personally do not agree with the whole not needing to give a basis for your objection, because I'm sorry, but that just made Lally look freaking pathetic. Like, not even giving a basis for it. Like, every time Lally said objection, what I heard in my mind was, Mommy, I need a juice box. Can I have a blankie? Okay. And then after you give me my blankie, I want to go down for a nap. All right. Oh, guys, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. Yes. And then, yeah, Bev would just come and save the day, pull out her nipple and give it to Lally. Just absolutely. That and add this. There we go. I'm not an idiot after all. Yes, 100% nursing from the bench. Nikki, that is it. Nursing from the bench. So Good, who was on dispatch, took the calls from PD when Jenn's call eventually came in. Who knows? Maybe Good was in the bathroom. I don't know. Yeah, inexcusable. That is inexcusable. I'm sorry. This is a courtroom, not a kindergarten classroom. Okay? That was inexcusable. Do you want to object to anything? Are you kidding me? All right. Do you solemnly swear, Jennifer McCabe, to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And you were allowed to have private conversations with your sister.
I'm sorry. Did that timing get y'all? Where she goes, yes. Oh, man. I'm having fun with y'all tonight. This is good.
Sister Nicole.
Yes.
That was before the police ever went in to do any formal interviews of you, Brian, or Nicole, correct?
Correct.
They're talking about her 911 call. Sorry, guys. I should have.
Do you hear a person?
I should have thought ahead that I might want to pull up her testimony and pull up her testimony about the 911 call. Why didn't I think of this before? Because I have ADD. That's why. Oh, also, I've had a very interesting day. That's all I have to say about that. An interesting day.
In the background screaming?
Yep,
Yes.
Here we
Who's
go.
that?
Miss Reed.
Here we go. It didn't take too long. We were able to find it. Do you wish to object, Mr. Lally?
Okay, whenever you're ready, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, it has.
McCabe, I want to go back very briefly to something you said just before we broke, and that was
Kelly,
in
you were
respect
good.
of the statements that you attribute to my client out of the scene. You said, well, there was an officer possibly asking questions, or it could have been a female EMT, and I wasn't answering questions about that, correct?
I hope your kids are feeling better soon.
Hence, you didn't say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Did you know that Amazon has a $50 million fine
Yeah.
that they have to pay out every month? And here's how you get a
When we start getting cool soupy chats and soupy stickers, I will get us a YouTube Elite or YouTube Plus or whatever it is that makes it to where we don't have ads.
Can you be clear on your question?
Let me rephrase that. Before we broke a few minutes ago, you had said, the reason I didn't say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, is because I was never asked. And the subject never came up about what an officer asked her when she declared that. So I just didn't offer it. And then you said, or it could have been an EMT.
Yes, I'm unclear who was there.
We're going to get to the 911 call here in a minute. We're almost there, y'all.
Isn't it true that at the grand jury, the question that was posed to you, and this is council, page 208. The question that was posed to you is, quote, so what happens next with yourself, Ms. Roberts, and Ms. Reed? And your answer was, so there are different, police officers getting statements from us. At one point, I'm standing with Ms. Reed and she's saying,
Send me a
"Did
message
I
about
hit
that,
him?
Sherry.
Could I have hit him?" And there was, I believe, an EMT, a female, standing right next.
Oh my God, Kelly. Kelly. Guys, let's all really quickly just stop what we're doing and give Kelly some love and some support. Kelly, you are a hero and a hoss, and we hope that your child kicks cancer's fat, wrinkly ass and doesn't call it back ever again. All of our love, all of our hugs, all of our prayers, and bless you because you are your child's strength when your child doesn't have it. Amen. It can just fuck straight off. Kelly, this is all for you, girl. All for you. All of our love and hugs. We are all pulling for you. We are pulling for your family. Oh, congrats. Congrats, Shelly. Her daughter is in remission. 2 years. Well, I don't know. 2 years since she got it. She's in remission. Health. Could have all the time in the world, but what is it worth? Yeah. Such a hard battle. 1 year in remission for Shelly. Okay, awesome. Well, for Shelly's daughter. He's a St. Jude patient. Oh, man. Shelly and Kelly, the super moms. Well, we are so happy to have you here. Please, both of you, let your kids know that we just think the world of them just for the fact that they are fighting this. Because it takes guts. It takes guts to fight. All of our love. All right. Jen, let's see you lie through your tooth some more.
Next to me and listening to her yelling, "Did I
Oh,
hit him?
she's looking at
Could
it.
I have hit him? Is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead?" Was pretty much nonstop. Remember that testimony?
I do.
So in point of fact, you were answering the direct question about what happened in front of the police officer and the EMT, correct?
There were multiple police officers and multiple EMTs present.
So now this is another police officer and a different EMT.
I'm not saying that.
Okay. But nowhere in this did you say that she declared the words, "I hate him." Correct? We'll agree on that.
Correct.
I have a,
Oh my God, Kelly.
As next in order.
Okay.
Question. May I approach?
Yes.
As we say in the South, this bitch would drown.
With court permission, I would like to play a portion of this and then stop it.
Okay.
And ask Liz a couple of questions about it. Okay? It's audio only.
one day at a time, right? Those windshield wipers. Guys, if you
Students with ADHD save 10 hours studying with this Chrome extension.
quiet.
But no, by all means.
So guys, if you would like to send up some prayers to the big man upstairs, his name is Liam. Amen, sister. We ain't got no quit. Love it. Love it. Yeah. We're not going to give the McAlberts a single inch. We're not going to give Morrissey a single inch. And we're not going to give cancer a single fucking inch either. That's right.
Mr. Cape, I've paused the audio tape just to ask you a couple of foundational questions. Do you recognize what's on that audio tape?
Yes, that's my voice.
Okay. You recognize you starting a 911 call, correct?
Correct. What's the difference?
This appears to be a open voicemail overhearing your 911 call. Do you recognize that?
Now that you explain it, okay.
You hear a rhythmic boom, 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 boom.
The windshield wipers.
Okay, so that would have been, that was my next question. That would have been an open voicemail that was recorded inside the cab of the SUV that you were seated in, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Does that sound like a true and correct copy of at least the portion of the 911 call that you heard?
I have to listen to it again, but
Well, why don't we continue listening to it and see if you recognize
okay.
it? With your permission?
Yes.
It's about, by the way, it's about 4 minutes in total, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'll just look at her face. %, Cherry. Oh, poor Karen.
Do you hear a person in the background screaming?
Yes,
Who is that?
Miss Reed.
I'm cold just thinking about that morning. Like everything about this gives me chills. So guys, this is the recording, not from the actual 911 call that was recorded by the police. This is the recording that Karen took by accident because she was calling John repeatedly. And then she looks out the window, she sees him, and she sets her phone down without hanging up. So this is all in a voicemail. Oh, there we go. Listen. You guys, when I hear these windshield wipers, what I'm also hearing in my mind is John O'Keefe's final heartbeats. That's just me. Jen. She didn't sound like that at all. Look at how she's staring forward like a freaking, like a Vietnam veteran. Yeah. Yeah, like there's just, eyes are the windows to the soul, right? That looks pretty hollow to me. That's just me making commentary, but yes, Dennis. Like in my mind's, not my mind's eye, but my mind's ear, when I hear those windshield wipers, I think of John O'Keefe's Final Heartbeats. Yeah, not a single tear, not a tear over the 911 call, except for when, again, it sounded to me in the 911 call a whole like she wasn't really that interested in having first responders come. She was more interested in having a coroner. Like, oh, I think he's already dead. I think he's gone. Yes, Shelly babes. Garrett, welcome. I think this is your first time here, or at least your first time participating in the Savage Patch. So we're very happy to have you. We are on a mission to make common sense more common here. That licking of the lips that she does too when she's lying.
Did you hear the audio recording that we just marked into evidence?
I did. It was very muffled and some parts were very hard to understand.
Understood.
Mhm.
The person on the phone, who was that person?
I called 911.
So Sherry, I can definitely see that when she's like starting to shut her eyes. And it's almost like she's replaying the whole incident in her head. Yep. Huh. Interesting. Marilyn, oh, hey Garrett. Marilyn, I think you're referring to the heartbeat thing. Oh, for sure, Dennis. Guys, Dennis Sweeney is a Canton cornerstone, so please show him plenty of love here in the Savage Patch. Oh, 100% Lulu Bell. I'd be sitting there crying listening to it. Let's keep going because Jackson's about to point out the same thing that we're all about to be thinking.
That was, for the most part, the person's voice that you could hear screaming, sounding sort of hysterical. Who was that?
Karen.
Could you also hear Carrie Roberts' voice at various times in the background?
Yes.
And she was, for lack of a better word, trying to calm Karen down.
Yes.
And at some point telling her to just shut up, you're not helping.
Yes, exactly.
Because she was so hysterical and so upset.
Erratic.
I won't agree that she was upset.
That
Did y'all hear that part? She's refusing when Jackson says, hey, did she Can you guys see me? Okay, cool. My Wi-Fi starts to get a little spotty the later at night we get. Eric, very glad to have you. Welcome. All right, let's bring Jen back up. Being upset, like she's like correcting him. She doesn't sound upset. She sounds erratic. All right.
This recording is longer than your 911 call. You would agree with that?
Well, I'd have to see.
Well, the 911 call's already ended, correct?
I'm not sure how long was the 911 call.
Okay, this is about 3.5 minutes into a 4-minute recording. My only question is, would you agree that the 911 call? You couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell. So if you have my phone record, you could, I'm assuming, tell when before the 911 call ended, because I know the 911 call was long because there were multiple, they had transferred me multiple times.
Right. My question to you is, I'd like you to listen very, very closely, and I know that it is a muffled recording by definition. I'm not going to do that. From this point forward, I want you to pay very close attention. I want to ask you if you hear a voice, very muffled, toward the end of this recording. We can play it with your permission.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, glad to have you.
In the foreground, after you heard Ms. Reed scream or yell?
I heard two people talking.
Let me go back and do that again.
Mr. King, did you hear the audio recording that we just marked into evidence?
I did. It was.
Who was that person?
I called 911.
And the person that was, for the most part, the person's voice that you could hear screaming, sounding sort of hysterical, who was that?
Karen.
Could you also hear Carrie Roberts' voice at various times in the background? Down?
Yes.
At some point telling her to just shut up, you're not helping,
Yes, exactly.
because she was so hysterical and so upset.
Erratic.
Erratic.
I want to play the rest of this. It appears that this recording is longer than your 911 call. You would agree with that?
Well, I'd have to see.
Well, the 911 call's already ended, correct?
I'm not sure how long was the 911 call.
Okay, this is about 3.5 minutes into a 4-minute recording. My only question.
Is that his name from Ice Age or Scratch? Little bit of a crazed look. Oh, okay. So Lulu Bell says it was just a slight modification. Okay. So nothing too crazy. I mean, I imagine they probably wouldn't have changed much, if anything, on that 911 call.
911 call is subsumed within this whole 4-minute recording.
I couldn't make that from that muffled.
You couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell. So if you have my phone record, you could, I'm assuming, tell when the 911 call ended, because I know the 911 call was long because there were multiple, they had transferred me multiple.
I'm not gonna do that. From this point forward, I want you to pay very close attention. I want to ask you if you hear a voice, very muffled, toward the end of this recording. We can play it with your permission.
Yes.
Stop. Did you hear a muffled voice?
So, guys, I don't know how many of you remember this. Whoops. But Jen made a call to Nicole, okay, that she says wasn't answered, but the phone records say otherwise, that it was answered. I'm going to make myself a little smaller. Here we go. Phone records say it was answered. It was a long convo with your buddy. Cancer's ass is here. Hello, Shelly's daughter. We are so proud of you for taking Cancer and dumping its body in the back, or in the Albert's case, in the front. So happy. But anyway, yes, this was a deleted phone call that she claims wasn't answered. But then Karen's voicemail that she's inadvertently leaving John from the backseat of Carrie Roberts' car picked up on on Jen saying something to Nicole on the phone. Now, we can't hear for certain what it says. But again, if Jennifer McCabe were telling the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help her God, then I would imagine that if you're telling somebody for the first time that your friend is like, hey, John, you remember how he didn't come in last night and we were wondering where the hell he was? Well, I found him. He's dead on your lawn. Like it would be a much louder voice. It wouldn't be this secretive whispering. I sure wouldn't be. Thanks, Kelly. Oh, man. Why didn't she? Okay, Eric is asking, why didn't she go wake up Brian Albert for help? Or, yes, a blanket. Like they were just going to say screw it to the blankets because there weren't any blankets in Carrie's car. Like, seriously? Jen should have said, well, let me go in the house. I want to check on my sister anyway. Dots did a very good job at cleaning up the audio. Garrett, that's a good one. Raise your hands if you think Jennifer McCabe is telling the truth. Oh my God. No, she didn't go to John's body, Mallory, and that's the point. So she's sitting in the passenger seat of Carrie Roberts' car, and again, she just testified that she's shocked that Karen even saw John O'Keefe from the car because he was impossible to see. He somehow blended in. Right? So if you couldn't see John and you're sitting all the way in the passenger seat of the car, how are you able to describe the blood on John's face to the 911 dispatcher? 100%, Eric. 444. Officer down. That place would have been crawling with law enforcement. Wow, was it, Sherry? Ugh. I bet you that's when she was doing her second Haas Long search in CIKD or whatever with a different spelling. Because there was a point in the EMT report that there was a very slight sign of life, or that somewhat indicated. And go to Nurse Kim's channel to get more clarification on that, because she went over it. I haven't gone over it myself, but there was a obviously a report from the EMTs, and when they had him in the ambulance, he, I think, vomited again or something. And so if he did that and Jennifer McCabe saw it, do you think she probably, again, this is like 6:15, 6:30. Yes, thank you, Kelly. He aspirated. And he was actively bleeding, which means a small heartbeat. Thank you, Kelly. This is why I've got people like you around. So if he had an aspiration, then who wants to bet $1 that Jen was probably like, oh, he's still alive? And that's when she did the second Google search in CIKD. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I knew she went over it. This is just so screwy. Screwy.
Voice in the foreground after you heard Ms. Reed scream or yell?
I heard two people talking.
Okay. And one of those was a very muffled voice on this recording, correct?
Most of the recording was muffled.
The one I'm talking about is I just played the voice that was muffled in the foreground of the audio recording, for want of a better phrase.
It's me. If she were telling the truth.
Yes, I heard that. Yes.
Was that you?
I don't know if that was me.
I don't
There was
know.
nobody else in the cab of the car with you, was there?
All of a sudden, I can't recognize my own voice.
Standing at the trunk of the car, outside of the car.
Terry Roberts was over by Mr. O'Keefe,
Agree. Yes, they were kind of running back and forth at times.
and Karen was over by Mr. O'Keefe for most of that.
Yes,
But you were the one by the car.
back and forth.
You called
So sad
Nicole,
that
your sister.
when people
By the way,
die suddenly, they become
we finished playing this just for
part of a statistic.
15. Okay, thank you.
Fix Logic, so good to have you on here. Thank you for joining us. I hope that you sleep super duper well. Come back anytime. You are more than welcome. Guys, please remember to leave your DNA evidence on the like button and the subscribe button, s'il vous plaît. And maybe even share the video with a friend. Those are ways that you can help support the channel. You can leave a comment as well on the video. If you want to help support the channel in more tangible ways too, there is a scrolly banner showing means and methods by which you can do that too. Please and thank you.
Okay, that appears to be the end of the tape.
Okay.
Okay. You called your sister.
Okay, here I am. My service is getting a little spotty. It's people coming home from work and all that. That's a good idea, Eric. I'm gonna talk to her about that for you. She was just on last night too. We were going over the Sallyport camera footage. Yes. So I've seen yeah, I guess we have some lurkers, Vix. Please just leave your touch DNA. Not any tissue or blood, just touch DNA on the like button. So, let's see. Back to this part.
Your extraction if they were answered phone calls, correct?
I don't have my extraction in front of me.
Well, you've been asked this question a bunch of times.
Oh my God. What are the 3 rules of being combative and dishonest on the stand? Admit to nothing. What are the other rules? Deny everything. And ask to be shown the records of everything that you said and did. Thank you, Shelly. Oh, Mallory. Mallory is brand spanking new here, y'all. Not a troll. Not a troll, I promise. Hey, you know what? With this stuff comes trolls. It's cool. It's cool. Every troll needs a bridge. Sorry, it takes a while for me to go back and forth between pages. I don't have 2 fancy monitors.
Yes. And
You were shown phone records.
well, if you have them, I could see them here.
You were shown phone records then.
Yes.
And at that time, you were confronted with the fact that the phone records show a 7-second call for 607, correct?
Objection.
I'm going to strike the word confronted. Go ahead and ask.
I'll pick another
Go
word.
ahead and
You
ask the
were- You
question.
were shown evidence that the 607 call lasted 7 seconds.
My sister never answered the phone.
Okay. I know you want to answer your own questions.
Yeah.
I'd like if you'd answer my question. Were you shown records that showed the call lasted 7 seconds?
AJ with that.
I cannot recall the exact record I was shown, but I was shown a phone record.
Okay. And you were shown the same phone record showed that the 608 call lasted 8 seconds, right?
Have you guys ever tried to help your 3rd grader with his or her homework? This is how it feels. It's like pulling teeth. So we're going to add 23 and 18. 8 and the 3. That makes 11. You put the 1 down in the 1's place, and then you carry the 1 from the 10's place. And they're just like wanting you to do the homework for them. They refuse to do it on their own. This is how it feels. 100%.
Again, I don't have it in front of me.
Does that sound about right?
About right. And there were a number of other calls that showed answered that weren't answered.
Well, we'll get to those. In a
Whatever the new math is these days, I don't freaking know.
607 and 608, at least the records indicate about 15
Thank you,
seconds
Jim.
worth of open line time, talk time. 7 seconds, 8 seconds, right?
You have the record in front of you. I don't.
I'm just asking if you were.
I like it, Eric.
If you were, there's that word again. if you were shown records that established that based on your own phone extract.
Yeah, the
your
new
phone
math.
records, that the
The
607
new math is
call,
slower.
7
It
second
adds more
call,
steps.
608 call was an 8-second call, right?
I was shown records, but I don't know exactly what they were, how long the call said, because she never answered the phone regardless.
You also
Regardless.
made another phone call at 6:23, did you not? To Brian Albert?
Muchos love, Lulu.
I'm so excited to be sharing my experience with Botox Cosmetic, my crow's feet, my 11s, and my forehead.
If you could share my phone record, it would be very helpful.
Do you recall it?
I know I called my sister and I called my
Isn't that
brother-in-law in the house. I do not know
sharing?
the exact times.
That's all I'm asking. You made a phone call to Brian Albert as well, right?
I believe so.
That was around 6:23. It was a few minutes after you had called Nicole twice, right?
Is my earbud
Correct.
And
backwards?
that call
No.
was not answered.
None of them were answered.
But the record showed that that call was not answered, as opposed to Nicole's 2 calls, right?
Right.
Um, were deleted from your phone
To make
before
that
you
Google
turned that phone
search.
into law enforcement, weren't they?
Not by me.
By somebody else?
I never deleted any calls when I willingly handed my phone over.
Thank you,
claim that
Sherry.
you didn't delete calls, but you do know that your phone was forensically analyzed and those calls were in the deleted file folder, correct?
I have seen that, but there were 20 calls, all in a group that were all
For me, I never deleted any phone calls or any Google searches. I also because I said them that Karen Reed said I hit him, and I understand that that's not in any of the police reports, but the Canton Police Department must have deleted my words and my phone calls. They must have done it. It's got to have been them because I didn't delete anything.
I'm not cherry picking anything.
You're cherry picking.
Mhm.
I'm asking you questions about the records.
which I would love a copy of if I could.
You've been questioned about these records.
For sure,
right?
Eric.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Must have been the
we
Canton
know that
Police
you
Department.
called at 6:07, 6:08, or thereabouts, and about 6:23 to Nicole. Was it into voicemail before you hung up?
So it was a bit
Okay,
of a
now
hysterical
Vix is going to
scene
bed.
that
Good night,
morning, and I
Vixie.
was in a state of shock. And I was just calling my sister and my brother-in-law. They did not answer the
Yeah, that's
phone.
possible.
I
She
cannot
had,
tell you when I hung up because it was
She could have had Allie delete the calls too, right? That way she can be telling the truth, so to speak, when she said that I didn't delete any phone calls.
hysterical scene. I was in a state of shock. Everyone was running around. And what seems to be forgotten is that my friend was lying there on the ground.
Oh, I don't.
The guy in the snow. Y'all, I can't believe she freaking name drops the Alberts before she gives John O'Keefe's name. That's just abysmal to me.
You, in fact,
Again, I don't have my phone record in front of me.
that's because Nicole didn't get any voicemails.
Show me.
Calls were answered, right?
The calls were not answered.
Guys, I'm going to let
You
my
agree with
dogs
me
go to the
that-
bathroom. Just talk amongst yourselves for just a minute.
the house.
Correct. Neither did any neighbor.
I know you'd like to continue editorializing
Mhm.
after the fact. There's probably a time and a place for it. This isn't it. If you can answer my question, I'd ask that you do that. Did Brian Albert come out of the house?
No,
Did Nicole Albert come out of the house?
no.
Thank you. Canton Police Department, who responded to the scene, were you?
I would say I am friendly with Mike Lank. He was 5 years older than me. Hey, how are you? Pretty much that's the extent.
Anybody else other than Mike Lank that you were friends with?
Not that I am friends with. I knew of Officer Sean Good, but I wouldn't say I was friends with him. I just knew who he was.
And you also knew that Officer Lank was very good friends with the Albert family.
Good friends, yes.
You knew that Mike Lank and Chris Albert had a long-standing friendship, correct?
Correct.
You just indicated you also knew Officer Good, is that right?
Didn't know him. I said I knew of him.
Okay. With regard to names like Sarah, Delaney, not so much.
Sarah has a sister that's the same age as my sister, but I had never, to my knowledge, met Sarah.
And of all the officers who responded to the scene, the two who actually went inside the Albert home to talk to Brian Albert and others was, in fact, Mike Lank.
Officer Lank.
The reason you know that, the reason you have a memory of what was happening inside the house is because you were allowed to actually go into that home, correct?
Correct.
And you went into that home before any of the officers went into the home. Is that right?
Correct.
You were allowed to have private conversations with Brian Albert?
I woke Brian Albert up.
Were you allowed to have private conversations with Brian Albert?
Steph, you don't cough anymore. Oh my God, I don't. And I haven't changed anything except for the CMOS. My name is Stephanie Dyer Belgeson. I'm 58 years old and I am a restaurant manager. I was always coughing and it sounded like I had a flu or a cold or something, but in fact, it's allergies. One of my servers said, Stephanie, have you ever tried CMOS? It's really good for you. I'm never sick. Like I'm never sick, ever. He told me what to order. I ordered it and I started it. And he was like, have you noticed anything? And I said, I don't know. I mean, I feel pretty good, but Steph, you don't cough anymore. And I was like, oh my God, I don't. Try it. You have to try it. I think it works.
Yes.
And you were allowed to have private conversations with your sister, Nicole?
Yes.
That was before the police ever went in to do any formal interviews of you, Brian, or Nicole, correct?
Correct.
Did you discuss in these private conversations how you three were going to answer any?
There was
Yes or
no.
Did you talk about what you should do or say when you were interviewed? Did you?
I don't know if any of you guys have bulldogs or have had bulldogs, but they are every bit as stubborn as Jen McCabe. So, yeah, the dogs were going potty. I had to let them out, Sherry. But yeah, it's Kelly. Jen was trying to kind of steer Jackson's questioning. And at several points, she's accusing Jackson of manipulating the evidence. Like, you're spinning this, you're cherry picking, you know. She's doing the mostest to try to, you know, let the jury know that what they see is not real. Right? And may I just add that we like to think it's the other way around. I love it. I love it. Yeah, especially if you have a bulldog. I mean, you know, it's really one of those things where, yes, and I have a Frenchie, I have an English, and I have an American. And they are so fun. Like, I could probably give them their own YouTube show. And they would do great. They would be little stars. I'll bring my Frenchie on for our next stream. Guys, I need to kind of wrap it up so that we can, so that my family can have dinner and stuff. I'm gonna, I gotta throw something together for us all to eat. But, oh, you have a Merle Frenchie, Kelly? We need to have all those who have Frenchies say I. We need to have a Frenchie stream together, because my Frenchie would love it. And she's such a princess. Like, she knows when she's getting her picture taken. Let me see if I can pull up a photo of her so that y'all can see her, because she is just like my total pride and joy. Collections. Here we go. Let's get her. Here is my Frenchie. This is Mitzi Lou. All right, Nikki. Love you. Guys, make sure you follow Nikki on TikTok. If you have a TikTok, it is Stormy_Skies11, the number 11. Here is my English, Paisley May. My big old baby. My American. And they are all so funny together. I got Mitzi some boots for the snow that we had. And a jacket, and she loved this jacket so much. Like, she did not want to take it off at any point. Yeah, we're gonna have a Frenchie stream for sure. And these two are like the two best buddies. This was on our RV trip. And then this is also on the RV trip. She likes to get a little more alone time and a little more space. She definitely gets along with the others, but she likes to get her own space too. Yeah, they are just the best. So guys, let me go through really quickly and thank all of the channel supporters for today. First of all, we have Sherry, who sent $24.90. Thank you so much, Miss Sherry. So generous of you. And if you guys don't know, that is Officer John O'Keefe's badge number. So let me find here we go. Oh, thank you for $24.90. Brandy, thank you for the 10 on Cash App. Charlie Lynn, thank you so much for your 5. I appreciate all 3 of you. Let me check the Ven Mizzle. Nothing on Ven Mizzle today, but yeah, I really appreciate y'all are absolutely amazing. If you guys would like to help support the channel, there are lots of ways that you can do that. It doesn't have to be on Cash App or on Venmo. You can like this video. You can subscribe to this channel. Maybe share with a friend as well. So all that helps this itty bitty baby channel grow a little more. Next time, guys, I don't know if we're going to have a guest on or not, but we will be opening up the Just En Route files because we are almost at 5 years since his life was taken. So that will be at 7 Central on Sunday, February 2nd. Sunday the 2nd at 7. Say that 10 times fast. Sunday. Yes, Sherry. That is his number. So also, guys, please consider making a contribution to the Karen Reed Defense Fund this Wednesday. So 2 days from now, January 29th, that will be the 3-year anniversary of the death of Officer John O'Keefe. So please consider making a contribution toward Karen Reed's defense fund as well. So yes, come back on Sunday, the 2nd. We'll go through the Just En Route files. I'm also putting together a little something special for you guys. We are going to go through a Boston cold case. One that I think you would be very, very interested in. We are going to go over the case of Lucia Kai Roberts. This case is from the 80s. Her killers are still at large. This took place in Boston. Oh, is that right, Sherry? Would today have been Just En's birthday? I'll have to reach out to Jen and find out. And guys, also, because of, some of the things that were happening and complicating our plans in 2020, she didn't get to have a service for Just En. Jen never got to have a funeral for Just En Route. So if you guys are local to the area, please consider going to the service that Jen's putting together for him. So yeah, we'll be back here Sunday. I am working Wednesday and I can't get out of it. But I'm going to try Wednesday night to maybe do a little special something for those of us who can't be at the 24-hour standout. But if you can go, there is going to be a 24-hour standout in front of Canton PD Wednesday. It will start at 8 a.m. and go until 8 a.m. the next day. So there will be a 24-hour standout there. So even if you can't stay the whole time, you can only hang out for like an hour or two, it would mean a whole lot to have you guys show your support. They're asking that you please wear like black, blue, things that are law enforcement support colors, because this isn't necessarily just a Karen Reed standout. This is the standout that's just for Officer John O'Keefe. If you'd like to make a contribution to Karen's fund, maybe consider doing it for $2.49 or for $24.90, because that was Officer John O'Keefe's badge number. So yes. Boston Mike and Tom CPU will be streaming. The name of their channel is Seeking Justice with Tom CPU and Boston Mike. So please make sure you pop in. I will be doing so I can stand out in spirit from all the way down here in Florida. So, but thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. Love getting y'all's company, going through this stuff together. We all bring so much to all this. So, yes, Nikki, awesome. I sent Nikki a little present. So, oh wow, if you do $3 for 3 years, for the 3 years it's been, or $24.90, yeah, that's a great idea, Brandy. I didn't know there was a $3 minimum. So, yeah, definitely consider doing that. Oh, absolutely, Kelly. We've got your back here. We support you. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have an awesome possum night. I will see you, if not Wednesday, I will see you on Sunday. So y'all take it easy. Have a great, great night. Justice for John O'Keefe. Here we go. Picture of him. Justice for John O'Keefe. I'm going to go ahead and go, but y'all take it easy. Peace, love, and butt dials.